On the other hand, here are the good practices which you have to follow, and here is like a good example alongside with 2 of these other examples which you have access to it, by the way, if you are following the resources. I'm going to show you in a heartbeat. Let me go through of the good practices. I mentioned some of them already. So first of all, use clear and simple layout, right? Standard fonts, body, that's it. You're going to have like one big headline, then like a secondary headline, maybe like a third secondary, priority headline, then you're going to have big body text and small body text. That's it. So basically you don't need more than 5, more like maybe even 4 size of body text. Keep everything simple, organized, minimalistic, have by space, even in your CV, because it's also, you remember I said that recruiter is going to have their first impression by your UI designs, right? It's somewhat the same thing. They're going to have like already an understanding about you, who you are, what kind of person you are based on your CV. So that's why it's better to have like a pleasant experience, right? Keep your resume concise, use only the most relevant experiences, as I said in the previous section. Focus on impact and results. This is why you're going to get hired. This is how you can show that you are somebody who can deliver, somebody who can do things. A good recommendation would be here that after you finish with your CV, upload it to ChatGPT or even the image itself and ask it to like help you write more numbers, results, data in your CV. If you cannot make them up by yourself, you have to, by the way, I want to highlight it much really hard here. You have to try to give results, numbers and data, because business people only understand this language basically. You want to optimize your headings and section titles. These are the only ones which you're going to need. You need your work experience, your education skills, tools, and perhaps an about or like achievements. And obviously contact information has to be clear. And right, I have my name here. This is like an example, but there is your name. Experience, this is the most important one. What company you worked for and what did you do there, right? What education did you have, also important. And then your contact details, secondary links. In this example, you can see it's like a social links. Skills is really important, and tools. And I want to highlight the importance of the skills and tools, because you remember we were talking about the ATS system, right? The thing is that the ATS system going to understand these words. These are the keywords which you have to embrace in your CV. I not recommend using a profile image. As I said, it might going to convey things which we don't want to convey. Export in PDF or plain text file, but I would rather recommend using a PDF, because this way the ATS system can read it. Also, I haven't mentioned it, but the ATS system can only read text files, and if you export it in like a PNG or something, the ATS won't be able to read it. Check for spelling errors and grammars. Also use ChatGPT to like check this one. You can also do this by yourself, but it's a huge problem if you have any grammar mistakes there, so try to avoid it at all cost. And use the right dating conventions, also important from the ATS system perspective. We want to have months/year to like whatever time you were working there, and this is how it would look in reality. So the ATS system can have an easy time recognizing your starting and ending dates in your previous experiences. Also, I know a lot of you, probably you are like juniors, you don't have much experience. You can also put as an experience like previous like project experiences. For example, if you were doing a project on the university, or if you were doing a project in your bootcamp, those are all experiences which you can put here as like a experience, basically like for 3 months I was working on this project title, time, and then like what you were doing at that project. It's perfectly fine, do that. If you had like a freelance project, you can also include it here. If you had any relevant other experience relevant to UX UI design, then you can also put it here, okay? So these would be my general rules which I recommend following. And here are 2 more examples of sort of like the same structure. And this is my actual realistic real CV, for example, which I'm using to apply for companies if I do. But as you can see, for example, for me in the beginning, there is like so many keywords here. I have my socials here, my contact information here, my education, and then my tools basically. I also recommend, if you can use ChatGPT or like any other AI tools, to include it in the tools section, because nowadays it's more and more important that you are at least aware of like what AI tools are available for designers. ChatGPT is like the most well known and you can use it basically for anything, right? I recommend putting it also here because companies are actually expecting nowadays us designers to be able to use AI stuff. If you're feeling really fancy, this is like a really extra thing. But in my situation, I also have like a video introduction, which can be opened, and pretty much I just tell my own story in English, right? So how did I become like a UX UI designer in general? Like, what is my story? Basically, it's the story which I told you at the beginning of this lecture. But if you're feeling really fancy, you don't need anything complicated to achieve something like this. You can see I literally just sitting here and talking to the camera, and I'm telling my story, like, okay, where do I come from, what are my interests, how I got into UX UI design. Basically here I'm talking about my bootcamp experiences which I was doing in the Netherlands, and then you can talk about your previous experiences, what you were doing, blah 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 blah. And trust me, if you have like a video intro like this one, this is something which definitely no people are doing. So I highly recommend, if you have the time and energy for doing this. But you can definitely, like, if you download CapCut or VN Edit. Yeah, so one is VN Editor, which I would recommend using to create a video like this one. This is the one. You can use it really easily on your phone. I still think it's like a better editor than CapCut. And then the other one, some of you probably know it, it's like CapCut. If you want to go a little bit deeper into like editing videos, adding transitions, animation, stuff like this, this is like better suited for that. But as I said, like VN Editor is like perfectly doing its job better, like good. It has less functionality, so I would recommend starting with this one because it's easier to handle, but in general they are basically the same. So this is something which you can use to like sort of still highlight yourself or like stand out from all the other people. Here in the resources file, you will find a ton of examples of how you can create it, okay? And you have access to it. If you're in the group, you have access to it either in the classroom resources or in the pinned comment in the comment section. But any of these basically are working fine. And as long as you export it in PDF, it's going to work fine. I just recommend using keywords and results. This is my highest recommendation. You can copy this one, you can go to your own Figma file, you can paste it there and you can change the information. That's it. And as I said, I'm not recommending using images. And as I said, once you finish with your CV, just go to ChatGPT, upload your CV and use this prompt. Imagine you are a professional HI member at a top tier IT company. Review my UX UI design CV for ATS optimization. Ensure it includes all key info to boost my chances of getting hired. Also provide actionable feedback on improving my portfolio for a stronger impact. So just to recap everything, keep the ATS in mind. I said it many times, the ATS is going to be the first gatekeeper in between you and the recruiter. Focus on a simple design with only the most relevant information, one page only. Really important, don't use any 2-page CVs, it's not making any sense, only one page. If you have too many information, decrease it, one page only. Use the right keywords, titles and dating conventions. This is what ATS is going to use to evaluate if you are someone who is worthy to getting hired. Use relevant experiences, which is related to UX UI design to some degree, or use your project experiences if you don't have actual working experience. Focus on impact results in your description, and you are allowed to like kind of like bullshit a little bit, right? I don't want to say like straight out that you have to have lying, so don't lie, but you still want to put yourself in the best light it's possible. Use a PDF format and use ChatGPT to scan and improve your CV. That's it.